Howdy doody dudes and dudettes! Oh, it's daily number 508. Look, this is the daily where we learn to be a better gamer. It's not about talking and being able to speak properly. This is where we do learning about StarCraft 2. In today's daily, keep flipping things over, we're going to learn how to battle mutalisks in Zerg versus Protoss. We're going to learn how to battle mutalisks in Protoss versus Zerg. I told you it wasn't about speaking, it's about learning. No many of you hate mutalisks because you play Protoss, and I play Protoss, and I hate mutalisks, which means I'm projecting on you your hatred of it. In this game, we're going to watch a very long game of Root Sage battling against it when behind. He doesn't even start out ahead. He starts out behind in time. Quite a predicament, quite an awkward spot. However, by using Root Sage's game, we're going to learn how to be the greatest PvZer in the world. Ah. Yes. Alright, here comes some coffee. Actually, is this uh-oh. It's a Warcraft mug. God, Day 9 abandoned StarCraft 2 to go back to Warcraft 3 commentary. Oh. And now we're going to build another unit. Maybe not another one beyond that. Primarily, though, micro. Once again, I would just like to show a photo of a dog. Yeah, that dog's awesome. Alright. Friday is Day 9's day off. We'll be playing Bioshock and something else. I suck. I haven't figured it out yet. Probably soon we'll be revisiting Dark Souls. I want to revisit that. And then the Portal games. I have never played through Portal 1 and 2, so we're going to do that. I would like to take the time, though, to notify you of a competition you can enter that I'm running. And also the results of the previous competition. Oh my god. I just want to... I will show this in a full video at some point, but if you go on over to day9.tv, you'll see the fastest max Zerg and Terran. Fastest max Terran competition just recently ended. Let me click on it. Let me not whiff it. Whoever gets to 200 supply as fast as they can with Terran wins the prize. In fact, some Mega Bloks battle cruisers. Blue Mage maxed out with Terran in 10 minutes and 17 seconds. Congratulations to Blue Mage. You can get the replays right there. It's really sick to see in action. Also, we are redoing the entire thing with fastest max Zerg. Oh, there's the same thing. And look at then people are already making comments. There's our community manager, Stephanie. We love her. She's so great. Just huge congrats to our wonderful individual, our wonderful individual Blue Mage for being such a boss. And of course for Anders Craig and Mark Murphy for being seconds behind bossness. But like the, 50-meter dash in the Olympics, it's kind of like what's his face said, Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld. He's like, first place, second, never heard of him. Like these are the differences that we're dealing with. It's like $1 million sponsorships dies in a gutter. Like this is the difference in the closenesses of the placings. But Blue Mage is the one who gets the Mega Bloks battle cruiser. So I want to talk about Zerg vs Protoss. I want to talk about sadness. I want to talk about the roots of bitter, utter, dejected sadnessry that is known as mutalisks. Fuck. Right? Right? Ugh. I hate fighting against mutalisks. Many timings that people are... actually, I should say that there's two statements in I hate mutas. There's really two problems that are there. Because we want to take our feelings and turn them into useful questions. Because if you say, how do you beat mutas? You haven't fucking asked anything. You've just gone... You want to take and turn into something useful. And the most common way to turn into categories is one, speed-based timings, such as I don't know how to get the defense up for mutalisks at the 9-minute mark or at the 10-minute mark. Or I don't know, the second question is, I don't know how to beat someone who's generally non-stop building mutalisks in the mid-game. I just slowly get chipped away. The reason we put these into two different categories is that this one, the timing one, how do I stop mutalisks that are fast, tends to feel very much so like everything's going well and then I die. it's kind of like a moment of crushing loss. The mass mutalisk one feels a lot like, I don't really know when to, oh, I lost a couple probes there, I don't know when to move out, I can't quite get the expansion up, and then you feel chipped down over time. So we're going to be focusing quite a bit more on this second question, how to generally face someone who has a lot of mutalisks compositionally, and how to move about the map in ways that are advantageous. I know that's how your face changes when you watch the show. Is he doing a topic about mutalisks? Oh, that's exactly how my face responds to donuts. So, we're about to watch an hour-long game between the Polish player Paranoid and the Korean player Root Sage from Root Gaming. Once again, this is from the Root Gaming Team House Replay Pack. You can go to rootgaming.com for that. Also, I have the Demir Ninja shirt. The Stealth Assassin. But I play Selesnya and Golgari. But a shirt's a shirt. Am I right? Am I right, bachelors who put no value on clothing? So, right away we have a funky opening. I do not care that much about this opening. The whole focus on this daily is mutas, mutas, muters. Providing ourselves an answer for that. I don't care if you do this opening or not. We're still going to discuss it some, although it is not the focus. Root Sage, moving on out. By the way, I slept for 13 hours last night, so you can tell I'm a lot more rested when compared to yesterday's daily. Most important thing always, it's better to be hydrated than it is to be caffeinated. Are these? This is a Warcraft cup and a Warcraft mug. Ooh, I'm getting all lore messed up. Oh god. The only thing that I wish was different in the Warcraft lore universe, I just hope that Lothar comes back. I tried so hard to save him in Warcraft 2. So hard. In the meantime, we're going to see Root Sage do a rather unusual opening. He's going to be going Pylon at the Expo, which does two things. For one, it will mess with a player who is saving up to go for hash first. And more importantly, two, we're actually going to do some damage against pretty much everything except a 6 pool. If we are getting 6 pooled, we are super dead. We are, wow, I drooled. I'm not going to address it that much because we're dead. We are so dead. Oh my god, this is like the guy who tries to charge the giant beast who's only ever been an extra his whole movie career. Dead. Oh my god. So that is the one metagame consideration that we are making. We're going to find out if we're fucked real soon here. So we're going to go in there and we're going to how nice. Standard spawning pool timing. We're going to try to mesh with him. But at the end of the day, as long as you have a follow-up plan that is, I don't want to say, you know, the same as an early expand build, but at least has hints of that, has the same underlying skeleton. I don't care how you choose to build your muscle, dear body sculper. But we will know some adjustments, like we should probably go Forge first, because we, you know, are very likely to be up against Zerglings. This is going to force him to build Zerglings, 100%. So we should have the answer to that. We can't really just go Nexus, as much as it would be cool to do. So Sage is not chrono boosting any probes, he's chrono boosting out Gelateur, which is, of course, as you know, Korean for the word gelatin. And as a general note, a probe acts like a surrogate +1 upgrade. It takes 3 zealot hits to kill a drone, or 3 hits to kill a Zergling, but if you have a probe, it takes 2 hits from each to kill a drone / Zergling. So that's why we engage together. So this is kind of a neat play. Already, it's neat, so elite. Zealots, can't be beat. Go, Paran. Oh no. Oh no! And then Sage tries to build up a cannon, but he's already screwed. He is so bad. He is in bad shape. I just said he is so bad, but I disagree with that statement. Sage is actually good. So this is a little bit awkward. I honestly think that the best answer to this would have been to just build a cannon right here, just like immediately, because then we essentially still get to expand right on time. And Zerg has lost a lot of utility because he's had to make so much stuff to kill off this base, and we're going to be pulling back kind of anyways. I think it's kind of fine what Sage does, which is just to use ungodly, ridiculously good micro, but is still falling a little ways behind. This is generally not what you would expect a Zerg player to do, but Paranoid's pretty strong, so... Pretty strong? Okay. So now we've once again yielded an odd situation. The theme of the dailies lately. Odd situations. So you're starting to see why, at the start of the daily, when I was talking about the timing issue, how do I stop Mutalists that show up fast? Is very different from the question, how do I stop Mutalists as a general mid-game composition? We can't even really deal with the timing thing because most of you are not going to walk away from this and go, well, I guess my standard play is to build a pylon at his natural. That's crazy. You've lost your frickin' mind, friend. Ally. Buddy. Alright. So, Ruta Seju does the usual wall off. Things are looking quite good again. We have to ask ourselves what we think our opponent will generally be behind upon. Most generally, a Zerg player will be just really behind economically, both in minerals and in gas. A general rule is that if you want to mess up someone's mineral count, kill workers. If you want to mess up someone's gas count, kill bases. It's really easy to put 3 back on gas and stay maxed out on gas capacity. It's quite difficult to do that if you don't have the base there. But with minerals, you just have to kill the workers, because actually early game, if you kill a base, generally they'll have something like 50 workers, which you can use to saturate 2 bases worth of minerals with 50 workers on the minerals. The player actually does not really lose that much mineral income in that circumstance. I want you to think about that, because I'm not going to explain it much more. But if you want to mess up bases, or if you want to mess up gas, kill bases. If you want to mess up minerals, kill workers. I didn't mean to drool, but I should have expected it. It was a natural result. So, in this position, Sage will likely want a way to exploit that. The biggest thing that we've really boned our opponent on is creep spread. So I really like going air in a spot like this. I don't know how bad his economy is compared to my economy, I'm unsure, but I do know that wherever this third base is, there ain't going to be a lot of creep joining that, so I can probably mess him up pretty hard. So he goes air. Boom. Mothership Core as a replacement for the Sentry is great, because this little attack can occur. And once again, note, what should be our target? Probably the third base, because there's really just not going to be a lot of creep joining these 2 bases. If this were something like Daybreak, it's pretty easy to join those 2 bases with creep. Other maps is quite a bit harder. So there's the Stargate coming on out. So Paranoid's doing some kind of tech, the Stalker's leading. And look at this, Sage has not even really checked much else. He's actually just beeline for this. This is très excellent. Because you're trying to draw everything out into this middle area. So I would actually describe that as pretty successful of an attack. We don't have any defense anymore at the front, because we don't have a Sentry and we have a Mothership Core with no energy. But that's fine, we have a cannon and some zealots and we're getting our air up. Yeah! So unlike many other air plays, we can very simply say that we're unsure of what the timings are. If we just went early expand, everything's clean and normal and good in the world, We know about when he can get mutalisks. We know about if he's going 3 base. It should be around 11 to 12 minutes is about as early as he can get it. So we know that we can wait for 4 or 5 Phoenixes before we move out. That's cool. In this situation, Sage just doesn't know that. So he has to move out a little bit earlier. Both for scouting information, and of course to just do a little bit of damage. Because the earlier these Phoenixes show up, the better they're exploiting the lack of creep spread. I would not lift the queen here. I think that's a complete and utter error. An utter, gross, disgusting, revolting error. Because one Phoenix is just not going to kill this queen. Not in the slightest. We'll actually need 3 lifts with 2 Phoenixes to be able to do that. Or 2 lifts with these extra Phoenixes, but these could have been drone kills. And most players are going to be building these spore crawlers anyways. So I think this is a sensible choice for Sage to do this play. But I do think that Sage, given his kind of loss of workers and loss of momentum in the early game, is kind of behind in this stage. Paranoid is doing a brilliant decision in my eyes, just expanding straight away. So I'm going to speed it up. If you are aware of timings, in other words, if you are in a very controlled situation where you know exactly what your opponent is doing, which is not this game, I think you can get away with going Robo straight to Colossus and expanding on just 1 gateway. Or expanding on just 3 gateways, 3 late gateways. But in this position, I think it's pretty critical that Sage plays very efficient. That's the word I'm looking for. He plays really efficient. He built the Stargate, better use the Stargate. He's getting up these, he got this early mothership core for harassment. He's going to make sure he can use it right away by having an expansion for to Planetary Nexus. So the Zealots and Stalkers try to do a little bit of damage. This thing goes down. Void Ray coming up makes perfect sense. We have not been able to control this game where we're getting Phoenixes because they generally will always be able to do some damage, and we were hoping to exploit this lack of creep spread and preparedness. But at this point, Zerg can really be doing anything, right? Zerg can be going Roaches, Fast Hydras, he can be going for lots of bases, he can be going Mutas, and everything's on the table. So most importantly, Sage cannot really attack. This is an anti-roach measure. Probably going to need to get up a robotics bay, there it is, to get some Colossus up. These 4 gateways will have to make some units to be able to reinforce this from Zerglings. The Immortal coming out. He's being maximally efficient with all his unit-producing structures while he gets a good sense of what's going up. He sees this. This is the theoretical 4th base for Sage. Or that Sage is seeing. He's like, oh, okay, I'm up against 4 bases. That's cool. General micro note. Right clicks to cluster first before lifting to ensure that the Phoenix lifting doesn't float over a spore crawler. Really good stuff out of Sage. Everything is hyper defensive and in reasonable shape. But I would like to once again credit the brilliance of Paranoid building 1, 2 spires. Let me actually click on them. There's 1. There's the other one. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Getting the upgrades really swiftly. Paranoid, I think, brilliantly was like, oh, if you went gate in my natural, you're not doing any pressure early on at all. I mean, your cyber core's delayed, so you're not really going to be going fast warp gate. And, oh, I see air? Alright, well, I'm just going to expand a whole bunch because you just can't attack me at all. Brilliant read from Paranoid. In fact, look at Paranoid's unit count. He has 3 Zerglings. This army supply is kind of a lie because the Corruptors and Mutalists are being counted as part of that. I believe, right? It should be. Is that how that's? Or is that the Queens that are being counted as army supply? Alright, yeah, the things in production are being counted up there. So Paranoid, I think, is playing this out frickin' brilliantly. He only has 3 Zerglings and 88 drones to in this spot. So Sage, I would say, is quite literally in one of the most unbearably, ungodly difficult situations to be in when it comes to fighting Mutalisks. He's just gotten his 3rd base up. Zerg is about to get his 5th base up, which means that Zerg will have a lot of extra gas, because again, bases means extra gas, workers means extra minerals. Extra base. If you're a 4-base Zerg and you go up to 7 bases, you're just not going to increase your mineral income much. You physically cannot, unless you're going 150 drones, which is stupid, and you'll die. You'll be wealthy and you'll die. And I don't recommend that. I recommend being lean and alive. It's really good. That's also how I kiss people. I love you so much. Now my leg is cold because water's on it. So yeah, Sage is, proverbially speaking, boned. He's in a bad spot. So I wanted to stop here for part 1 because this is the setup. We've seen that Sage kind of had this clever build that went awry. He has all the necessary stuff to have stayed alive. He had to get this in case of Hydras. He had to get these in case of Zerglings and small, slow roach pressure. He's getting the Void Rays in case of roaches. He's getting the Immortal in case of roaches. He's getting these Phoenixes to discourage his opponent against going Mutalisks and to give him a little bit of scouting and damage pressure dealing up there. But Zergs are doing this a lot nowadays. Building Corruptors and then flooding Mutalisks. How do we deal with that in the mid game? We're going to find out after this break.